Merry Christmas, everyone, and welcome to my championship predictions for match week number 23 and 24 of the 2023 to 24 season. That's right, it's festive fun in the championship, and we're back for some more predictions. And this will be covering match week 23 and 24, so that's this upcoming weekend's games and the games over Boxing Day. So tuck in, get ready, and get some predictions down in the comment section because, of course, the scoring system is 3 points for the correct result, then it's 5 for the correct goal difference. So if you said a 2-0 win to Cardiff and it was 3-1, that would be 5 points, and 7 points for the correct scoreline. So let's get straight into it with the games in game week 23. We've got Swansea City taking on Preston North End. Now, I think Swansea, they didn't start the season too well, but they've had better weeks recently. Preston, on the other hand, they have been one of the best teams this season, and they got an absolute battering from my boys, Watford, and an absolutely incredible performance from the Golden Boys. 5 goals away from home, and some fantastic goals as well from Ismail Kone, Kayembe, and a brace for Vacuum Bio. And the pass from Edo Kayembe for Bio for the second Bio goal was absolutely fantastic. So incredible stuff, and yeah, really good performance. And Preston was stunned into silence, to be honest. So impressive stuff, and I think championship, level is where Preston are at really. But they've shown this season they can punch above their kind of other people's expectations of them because they've had a really good season. Preston currently sat in a healthy spot, just above Watford in 8th spot. Meanwhile, Swansea City, they're kind of languishing towards the bottom at 18th spot, but their form has not been, that bad. I mean, they've had, 1 win in 5, 2 defeats, 2 draws, so it's okay, but they need to pick up some momentum, and they've got a home game tonight against Preston, who I think will prove difficult opposition. So I would say Preston probably get the win. I'll go for Swansea City 1, Preston North End 2. Next up, at Ashton Gate, it is Bristol City against Hull City. Now, what Liam Rosenior is doing at Hull is quite remarkable. He's got them playing some great football, scoring goals through the likes of, Liam Delap and the like, and Philogene has been absolutely inspired, but they're also keeping up with the people around them. So they're currently in that playoff spot in 6th, and they're facing a Bristol City side who, are very consistent. They're hard to beat, but they're sitting in 14th. Good result last time out, a much needed result, to be honest, in their game last week against a fairly decent Sunderland side, but a good win nonetheless, and Conway with the penalty there. So I think this will be a tough test for Hull City because, as I said, Bristol City are an away from home. This will be a bit easier for Hull being at the KCOM, but that obviously this is actually at Bristol City. That's even harder. So in that respect, I think it's harder than I would expect for Hull. They'll probably still be up there, Hull, come near the end of the season. I think they're in that kind of conversation with your likes of Norwich's and possibly Middlesbrough's and Watford's to kind of flirt with that playoff spot. Maybe not Watford because we're not looking for that at the moment when our squad isn't ready. But you know what I mean, those sort of teams. So I think Hull will have a good season, but I think this is going to be a tricky test, and I think they're going to follow up Bristol City, that win against Sunderland, with the same scoreline against Hull. Bristol City 1, Hull City 0. And the only goal, I think there'll be a sending off for Bristol City from one of their defenders. It is going to be a red card for the Robins, which is very seasonal with Christmas. The Robin and the red for Christmas. I think there will be a red card, though, for Dickey. And then there will be a goal for Bristol City from Zach Viner, if he's still playing these days. And a 1-0 win for the Robins. That's what I'm going for. Leeds against Ipswich is up next. This is one of the Saturday 12:30 games, I believe. So this should be a really exciting matchup, I have to say, because both of these sides really are very, very, feeling confident about being in the promotion charge this season, the promotion battle. And, they're both two sides that, have a lot of quality on their day. Leeds score goals. Somerville has been a fantastic player for them this season. Obviously, Daniel Farker, he didn't have an easy start, but since he's kind of got them better, it's been looking quite good for Leeds. and they've been scoring goals after goal. Now, Ipswich have been even better than them. Exceeded a lot of our expectations. They're looking pretty good for the top four, you'd imagine. Let's hope they can carry it on across the season. But they're sat in second at the moment, I think, and they just keep on winning games and scoring goals. And Connor Chaplin is fantastic. Nathan Broadhead. They've got obviously Leif Davis, who's a fantastic fullback for them. So there's just so many good players for Ipswich at the moment, and they just have that winning mentality at the moment. But this will be a tough test. I think Leeds at the Ellen Road is always a tough test for any away side. So I think Leeds will get a couple goals here, but I actually think Ipswich will get the 3 points. So Leeds United 2, Ipswich 3. This really could be a indication of how far Kieran McKenna's side have come, because he is a fantastic manager. There's no doubting that, but it's just, will they be able to keep it up? That's ultimately the question in the situation right now. So yeah, but that will be an exciting game. Sheffield Wednesday Cardiff is up next. Bit of an interesting one. Obviously, Cardiff recently have been a lot better. I think Cardiff are a sort of team, they should be fine most seasons. They should be okay. I mean, at the moment they're fairly comfortably in 12th, but they had a point last season where you thought, oh, this is really not going well. And they were just, snowballing, to pardon the Christmas pun, down the table. But now it's looking pretty steady. Errol Bullitt has definitely, got a team that's a winning team. And, their form has not been great recently, it has to be said, but they have still won a few games. And look, they've won one of the last 5. It's 4 defeats, but there's still enough there. They've nice position in the table. Will it be another sacking? Maybe, but it depends on this game. And I think this is a must-win based on that form for Cardiff. So I would say Cardiff get the spoils here, because Sheffield Wednesday, they've got Danny Roll in, and to be fair, he's got them a few results, but it does feel a little bit too late, too late from Sheffield Wednesday. And they're still sat in 23rd, so it's not easy. But I'm going to say Sheffield Wednesday 0, Cardiff City 1. Next up, we got Sunderland against Coventry. Now, Coventry, it is amazing their fall to grace, obviously finishing in the playoff final last season and so close to tasting Premier League success and going into the Premier League, but that unfortunate, unlucky penalty shootout against Luton. And now they've really struggled, because they've obviously let go the likes of Gyökeres. They've let go the likes of Gustavo Harmer to Sheffield United. So it's really hard. It's really hard when they lose key players. But not much of the squad has changed outside of that. And yet they're just not playing the same way. They're not as consistent. And yeah, it's 2 wins in the last 5. 2 draws in a row. So they will be looking at this game thinking they need to pick up some form. But Sunderland, they're a weird team at the moment, because they have been in fantastic form this season, but not many people thought they would lose against Bristol City. So who knows with Sunderland? I think it's possible that Coventry give them a battle here, but I think Sunderland will probably still win. I just think it won't be a comfortable win. I'll say 1-0 to Sunderland, with the only goal in the game for Sunderland coming from none other than the man, the myth, the legend. That is, yes, their centre-back. Their very solid centre-back. You want to know who that centre-back is? Well, I will tell you, don't you worry. It is, of course, Mr. Niall Huggins. Who's a fullback. Forget that. I meant Timothy Pembele. That's what I meant. Right, let's go into the next fixture. And it is another right-back, Pembele. Okay, do they actually have any centre-backs? What about Hume? Surely Hume. Do they have any centre-backs? Because Hume is actually also a right-back. What is going on? Right, Daniel Ballard. That's who I meant. He's a centre-back, I'm sure. My ball knowledge of Sunderland's team is being shown here. Yeah, Daniel Ballard will score the goal for Sunderland. There we go. Right, next up, it's Stoke against Millwall. Now, Stoke City, they're a hard team to predict. Obviously, many seasons now in the Championship, they've just been solid, but nothing, inspiring. This season, it has been pretty awful, and so they made the decision to let go of Alex Neil, which to be fair, interesting. I think it's understandable, but at the same time, well played, really, because the appointment of Steven Schumacher, obviously, what he did at Plymouth last season was incredible. But now a 3.5-year contract with Stoke, and will he have that new manager bounce for them? Because they got Millwall this week. Millwall, they're pretty solid, I have to say. They're, kind of at the upper end of the table. But I still feel Millwall on their day can be got at. Sorry, I say upper end of the table. I don't know who I was thinking of. Millwall are 20th. So yeah, no, instead what I will say is they're not very good. But recent results for Millwall, I mean, yeah, not very good either. So really, it's looking like a fairly comfortable Stoke. Nah, not fairly comfortable, because it's 19th against 20th. So actually, it's probably not. But one thing I would say is, watch out for Millwall. Watch out for Mr. What's his face? I can't remember his name now. Norton Cuffy, that's it. Because obviously against Huddersfield, he scored. It was a disappointing result, obviously, to not hold on to the 3 points with the late goal from the penalty spot from Bergzorg. But I still feel Millwall will give this a go and get at least a draw. So I think Millwall will draw this one 1-1 with Stoke. That's what I'm going for. I think a little bit of improvement at least for Steven Schumacher. Then it's Blackburn against Watford. Come on, you Horns. We of course lost the reverse fixture with them at Vicarage Road, and it was an absolute daylight robbery. I'm talking like Home Alone, robbing all the stuff from the house, Marv and Harry, like that sort of robbery. It was daylight robbery. And I don't know how they got away with it. Honestly, Blackburn didn't play well at all, I thought, in that game, and Watford all over them. And then out of nowhere, it just breaks for Blackburn around 73 minutes or something. And it was a chance. I think a shot originally came in, possibly a block came in, and a sliding challenge, really good tackle from Wesley Hoot. It was Ryan Porteous that made the challenge, and you thought, what a challenge, that is clutch defending, my guy Ryan Porteous, the Rock. And then what happens is the ball somehow, it's so unlucky, trickles away and falls back to a Blackburn player. So despite the fantastic sliding challenge, it gets back to the Blackburn possession, just fortunately for them, and then it falls to Ryan Hedges. And to be fair to Ryan Hedges, it's a good finish, but how has that gone in from the near post? I mean, firstly, the touch from Ryan Hedges, he gets a couple of touches on the ball. I mean, admittedly, Wesley Hoot, who's kind of trying to tackle him, shouldn't allow him to get past him, but he kind of does a few keepy-uppies, keeps it up, and then gets past Hoot, and then just, oh my days, how it's got through at the near post, I don't quite know. It's incredible stuff, and yeah, so fair play. But it was just, like I said, a smash and grab moment, a real daylight robbery, and undeserved, I felt, based on the way that game played out. And, Watford could have easily won that one. That was quite early on in the season, I think, in August. So, a long time has happened since then, and Watford have got much, much better since then. Really starting to progress now under Valérien Ismaël. And it's great to see the way that Valérien has really imprinted his style of management on the side, because we're playing well. We've got an identity back, which we haven't had for at least 3-4 seasons. So it's really good to see. And yeah, I would say as well, this is a sort of game that Blackburn, they're a very dangerous side, especially at Ewood Park. So it's a bit of a banana peel, this fixture. And our away form is still, when you take the Preston game out of it, it's been pretty awful, our away form. I know that we beat Hull as well, but some of our games this season, especially away from home, remember that Leeds game and the Sunderland game, there's been some dreadful away performances. So fingers crossed, another win to carry on our good unbeaten run. Obviously, losing the game against Ipswich was a shame, but to respond against Preston as we did was really great to see that character. So I would say, let's hopefully get a win. If we can get a draw, that's not a bad result either, because as I said, Blackburn, they're a dangerous side. They've got Sammy Smodics, who is an absolute goal machine. I think he's probably still top scorer, or at least up there. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to keep him quiet, but we'll have to do what we can. I'm going to go for, as a Watford win, I'm hoping for it, Blackburn Rovers 1, Watford 2. A narrow victory. And we're going for goal scorers in the game. I think Watford will score first through the in-form Vakun Bio. I think he will get the first goal around about, let's say, 28 minutes. He's really coming into his own now, I think, Bio. Obviously, Rajovic has been great as well, but didn't play too well in the game against Ipswich, was it? Was it Ipswich or possibly the game before that? It might have been, to be honest, because we had, I think, before that, a game where we didn't look great from an offensive point of view, but ended up winning the game anyway. I'm trying to remember now. Oh, Southampton, yeah. So, you know, Rajovic didn't play well in that. Bio came off the bench and got the assist for Healy. So I would like to see Healy get some more minutes because I was surprised Healy didn't get the start in midweek against Ipswich. But I guess, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's pretty happy with the starting squad. So what I would say is, bear with a sec whilst I just do something, people. Bear with. Just making sure we've got some charge, which would be good for the video, wouldn't it? Definitely would. But yes, as I was saying, look, this will not be an easy game, but hopefully a 2-1 win. I think, Bio's goal on 28 minutes, then I think Blackburn probably will equalise through Sammy Smodics, and we'll say a goal on about, say, 59 minutes. But then Watford's second strike of the afternoon to get them the win comes from one of my favourite Watford players. It's the young gun, the wonder kid, Yasser Asprilla. I'm really hoping we can hold on to him in the January window because there are a lot of clubs floating around. But I think his goal, let's say his goal comes on 75 minutes. Yasser Asprilla. Oh, Asprilla. Anyway, let's move on to Plymouth against Birmingham City. Now, this is an interesting one because Plymouth have just let go of Schumacher and Birmingham City, well, they've had a bit of a struggle since the appointment of Wayne Rooney. Shock horror. Apparently, taking out one of the best managers in the league does hurt you, and also bringing one of the worst managers in the Championship also hurts. So, I guess the PR, decision, Tom Brady, of, getting rid of John Eustace, who was, getting you well in 6th in the league, looking good, and bring in Wayne Rooney just because he's a big name. Oh, turns out that's backfired. So karma is unfortunate for you. But what I will say about this Birmingham City side, they still have quality on their day, a decent squad. And if we're looking at the table, I mean, really, Birmingham City, they should be higher than 17th. It's not been great the last few weeks. Plymouth also in a similar spot on 16th. So this will be a tight one, I think. I think it's one of those games where the first goal will be the winning goal. But I'm just going to edge towards a Birmingham City result, I think. Plymouth Argyle 0, Birmingham City 1. Could this be the start of Wayne Rooney's upturn in form? Get a little run going, we'll have to see. But that's what we're going to go for. Then it's Leicester City Rotherham United. I think this is an absolute mismatch. I mean, it's 24th against top of the league. So you would imagine it's a hiding. But there's no guarantee in the Championship, of course. We know how unpredictable this league is. But I still feel Leicester could hit a few here. So I'll say Leicester City 3, Rotherham United 0. And I think 2 goals will come from Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. And 1, I think, will come from Mr. Reliable for Leicester at the moment. Yes, it is Madvididi. So that's 3-0 for the Foxes. Next up, we've got Norwich City against Huddersfield. Now, I think Norwich go big in this game because although Huddersfield have been better recently, I still feel they're not quite strong enough for them to, get anything in this game because going to Carrow Road is not easy. Obviously, Norwich haven't been the most consistent this season, along with the likes of Watford and the likes of Middlesbrough in the kind of that section of the table. I mean, 10th spot, it's not the worst place for the those sort of teams like Blackburn and like Norwich, like Watford to be, but I still feel at home against Huddersfield, who, Huddersfield, fair enough, they've got themselves out of the relegation spot, but I think that's just, more about QPR than it is about Huddersfield. So I think, their recent results have been good, QPR, but Huddersfield, they've not got, many wins just one in the last 5, so they need to pick up Huddersfield. And I don't see it coming here, basically. Norwich City probably win this. I'll say Norwich City 3, Huddersfield 0. And goal scorers, I think there'll be 2 goals here from the man, the myth, the legend, Jonathan Lowe, and 1 from Gabriel Sara. Now, it is Middlesbrough versus West Bromwich Albion. Now, this game, I think, is interesting because the way I look at it is genuinely think West Brom, they've been in some good form recently. And Middlesbrough, on the other hand, sat in 13th, won last time out. It was a much-needed win for them, to be honest, because, I'm just not sure Middlesbrough's form at the moment has been a bit up and down. They beat Swansea, obviously, and then they also, beat Preston quite a lot, by quite a lot recently, but then they lost against, the likes of Hull and Ipswich, so very up and down. But this is a home game for Middlesbrough, so a better chance of some points, maybe. I still feel, though, West Brom will take home all three. Middlesbrough 0, West Bromwich Albion 1, and the only goal from Darnell Furlong. And finally, for Matchweek 23, we've got QPR versus Southampton. Again, a bit like Leicester Rotherham. I think this is a bit of a mismatch in quality. I think QPR, they've not been amazing this season, and we know their defensive problems. And Southampton have been scoring a lot of goals through the likes of Stuart Armstrong, Adam Armstrong, etc., etc. So I think QPR 0, Southampton 3. So that's another 3-0 I've gone for there. And I think there'll be one goal from Adam Armstrong, one goal from Stuart Armstrong, and then one goal from Kyle Walker-Peters. So those are my predictions for Match Week 23. Let's quickly rattle through Match Week number 24 then. It starts with Preston against Leeds. Now, I think Preston get the victory here just because I think they'll bounce back from the recent disappointing results at home. I think that game against Watford, they were torn to shreds. I think they'll want to, put another win on the spin. If they beat Swansea, which I think they will, then I think they'll find a bit of form and also beat Leeds, who, to be fair, that could be an exciting game against Ipswich, but I think maybe Leeds will just struggle without the Ellen Road atmosphere. So 1-0 Preston. Then Millwall QPR, I'm going for a 2-1 Millwall because it's going to be a tasty one, obviously a London derby, but Millwall, as much as QPR have struggled, surely have to win this one. I know that Millwall are also down there at the 20th spot, but they've got a decent side on their day, Millwall. Norton Cuffy, some good players in there. So I'll say 2-1 Millwall. Then it's Coventry City, Sheffield Wednesday. I don't see this having many goals in it, to be honest, because Sheffield Wednesday are going to go here and be defensive. Coventry, on the other hand, well, they're quite low on confidence in general. So I think 0-0 here between those two. Then it's Hull against Sunderland. Fascinating game, this one, because, as I mentioned, Sunderland losing to Bristol City. So they're not perfect, Sunderland, but Hull City are also chasing them down in that playoff kind of picture. So I think Hull can get the win here, genuinely. Hull City 2, Sunderland 1. Then it's Huddersfield Blackburn. Now, Blackburn, obviously, they'll be interesting against Watford. It's a bit of a, playoff clash, that Watford game. They're in a similar position in the table, whereas this game is even harder, I think, for Blackburn. Sorry, it's Huddersfield. Sorry, I thought it was Hull. No, it's Huddersfield. So I think this is even easier for Blackburn. So I think they'll get a 2-0 away win for there. Then we've got Watford taking on Bristol City at the Vicarage Road Stadium. Now, we have always not won on Boxing Day. It's just a bit of a trend we do. Or at least I can't remember a win on Boxing Day for a long, long time. I'm just thinking back to some of our games. I think we had Leicester City one day. But yeah, basically, we have a lot of draws. We have a lot of draws on Boxing Day games. So, for instance, in 2022, our Boxing Day game was, I think it was the game against Millwall, and we lost 2-0. That was quite depressing, because we played genuinely awfully, really, really bad. 2021, when we were in the Premier League, I think that was, I'm trying to think, it was called off, wasn't it? Yeah, we had that Wolves game, and I think it was called off because of COVID. So, yeah, that was not ideal. Then 2020... trying to think what a game was. Oh, it was Norwich, of course, and that was the first game for Cisco. So actually, we have won on Boxing Day before, but it just felt like ages since 2020. So that's the kind of picture I'm getting at. We don't often win, but the fact we're at home now, Bristol City obviously just beat Sunderland, so not an easy game. Obviously, Bristol City seem to come into a bit of form now, and they're not an easy opponent to keep quiet. The likes of Naki Wells, I think, still playing for them, so won't be easy. And of course, a reunion with, the man, the myth, the legend, Nigel Pearson. I do believe he's still there, somehow. I don't quite know how. Oh no, he wasn't. He was sacked in October. What was I thinking? No, so who's the current Bristol City manager? I don't even know at this point. It is Liam Manning. That's it. Sorry. Apologies. I'm well behind the times. I just wanted that more for the Watford link there. But no, of course, he is gone. I remember now hearing about that. So, yeah. So for that reason, Liam Manning, yeah, I'm not too scared about Bristol City. But we need to just take care of ourselves. Hopefully get the win. 2-1 Watford. Goal scorers for this one. I think this will be a game for a juicy goal from Mr. Ken Sema. And then the second goal for Watford to win it, I think will be a centre-back. Yes, it's Ryan Porteous as a nice little Christmas present on Boxing Day. The goal for Bristol City, though, will go for a goal from, I don't know, let's say, it's not going to be Rob Dickey because he just got sent off. So we'll say, trying to think, oh, you know what I'm going to go for? An own goal for Watford, because I've just got a feeling that will happen. And we'll say an own goal from, I don't know, Ryan Andrews. But I don't want that to happen, of course. But that's just what I think might happen. Anyway, let's move on to Rotherham-Middlesbrough. I'm going for a 3-1 away win for Middlesbrough. I think that's pretty standard stuff because, yes, Middlesbrough haven't been great, but they're at least better than Rotherham. Sorry, Rotherham fans. Then it's Southampton against Swansea. I think this is a bit of a mismatch. Southampton have been so good in terms of scoring goals. Keeping them out has been a bit of an issue, but I think they will do that in the next coming weeks. So 2-0 Southampton. Then we've got West Brom against Norwich. This could be a tasty one because West Brom, they're looking close to the playoff picture. Norwich also a little bit underwhelming, but still scoring some goals. I think this could be a goal fest. I'll say West Brom 2, Norwich 3. Next up, we've got the game between Cardiff City and Plymouth. Now for this one, I do believe that this will be a Cardiff win. I'm going to go for Cardiff 1, Plymouth 0. Then we've got Birmingham City against Stoke. I think Birmingham City probably do win this game. I know that Stoke have been, maybe a bit better. They probably will be by the time Schumacher makes his imprint. But I think with Birmingham being at home, I'll go for 1-0 Birmingham. And then finally, Ipswich-Leicester. Should be a great game. I'm going for Ipswich Town 1, Leicester City 1. I think this will be a tight one and a nervy one, and no one wins in the top of the table clash there. So those round up my predictions for match week number 23 and 24. I know that some of those predictable games in game week 24 maybe are a bit boring and a bit samey, but that's what it is. That's the way the cookie crumbles. So I hope you have enjoyed. Smash a like on it. Get all your predictions as much as you can, at least, from the match week 23 fixtures and the 24 ones I just went through. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everyone. Merry Christmas as well. Merry Christmas.